Right, hi. I'm not gonna do this fucking video thing because I want to can retain some kind of air of mystery, truthfully, and I think it's a bit gay. Anyway, I'll just carry on with the questions. Can you hear me okay, yeah? That's fine. Um, Question one, I have to say I did look at these questions beforehand just because I'm a nosy fucker and I wanted to kind of see what John has said, and also gives you a little bit of time to kind of think about things because it's like somebody kind of gives you a question and you're like, I don't know, yes, you have a bit of time to think, but not too much. I might have to kind of stop this video at some point because my tea's on the go and I'm kind of hungry, but I'll start with them anyway. Number one, do you like the name Dougie? I do now. When I was a kid, I absolutely hated it. When I was a kid, I had a slight speech impediment and slight stammer. So to have a name beginning with Dougie, was quite hard for me. If people can ask me my name, it was quite hard for me to actually say my own name. I remember we used to have like substitute teachers at school, and they'd turn up and they'd kind of go around the class and can you tell us your name and something interesting about yourself? And I would sit there completely fucking petrified, trying to rehearse my name. Just saying Dougie or Douglas was such a big deal for me. It's kind of odd when you think back. You think that's such a big deal to somebody, just to be able to say your name properly. So for a long time, I really hated my name until my kind of teenage years, and I was like, Mum and Dad, why did you give me this fucking accursed name that I can actually pronounce properly? But then you kind of learn to kind of you kind of grow up and it's fine. But for a long time, I absolutely hated it. These days, I actually quite like it. It's one of these kind of funny names where people call you different things. So some people call you Dougie, some people call you Doug, which I'm not massively keen on. I don't like the kind of bluntness of it. Some people call you Douglas, some people call me Dougal. I'm fine with all. I kind of like that about the name. It's just it means different things to different people, and I kind of like that. People can be quite pissy about their names, can't they? Like people double barrel names. You don't see both double barrels. You're fucking like you've been caught in bed with her fucking ma. So I kind of like the name now. I like the fact that it's kind of there's kind of variety there. You can do your own thing with it. I also like the fact that it's very Scottish and it's Gaelic for black water, by the way, which I kind of like too. But yeah, it took me a long time to kind of grew to like my name, but I like it now. It's a good name. It's a good kind of strong name. My dad was wanting to call me Danny, weirdly, which was his choice of my name. I think my mum kind of shut him down. Like, you can't have a grown man called Danny, can you? Danny, it's a kid's name, Is Danny coming out to play? Danny's coming out to play, that's fine. But a grown man called Danny? You can't have a grown man called Danny. Dougie, Doug, Dougal, whatever. People know who you are. You can't have a grown man called fucking Danny. Question 2. For how many years have you lived in the city, town where you currently reside? I've lived in Edinburgh for 8 years. 2012, I think, is when I moved down. Yeah, I think it's the best city in fucking Britain, frankly. For me, moving down to Edinburgh from Aberdeen, which isn't the nicest place in Scotland, let alone Britain. It's a pretty kind of grim city. For me, moving down, it was the best thing I've ever done, truthfully. Like one of those best decisions of your life ever type thing. Was moving down to Edinburgh. I think it's a wonderful city, and it made me realise how important actually living in a city where you actually like living in is for your general sense of happiness. I think if you live in a place you don't like, I'm not convinced you can actually be happy. I think you need to be surrounded by something you actually enjoy for you to be happy. It sounds quite a basic idea, but it took me a long time to kind of grasp that part of the kind of fundamental problem with my life was that I was living in a city I didn't actually like. But sometimes it takes a little kind of while to kind of get to that kind of realization, doesn't it? You know. But yeah, I think Edinburgh's beautiful. I love the Georgian architecture. I love its kind of gothic nightmare quality. It's one of these cities that I think looks good in kind of any weather. Like when it's sunny and all kind of sparkly, it's nice. But when it's like bleak midwinter, and it's quite grim, and you know, it's great too. I think it's got a real magnificent regal air about it. I love it very much. Question 3. If money were no object, is there any place you dream of living? I always kind of default to America, because I think America is the best country in the world to be rich in. So I tend to go towards New York. I think New York's a lot better than fucking London these days. I think London's finished, man. I think it's a bland, boring place. But New York still feels kind of alive. I know some people who probably grew up there in the kind of 70s and 80s probably say quite different, and I'm sure they have a point of view, but you know, New York's the kind of place of your imagination, I guess. You know, if you're kind of brought up watching American culture and movies and things, you just kind of fall in love with New York. It's just kind of this place of your imagination. I've only been there once. When me and Anna arrived, we went, we got the train into fucking Manhattan, and the train was taking a while, and the train turned up, and we got in, and we're sat on this train waiting to go, and it's taking fucking ages. Like, there's a voice in the fucking tannoy, and the guy goes, naked woman on the platform, naked woman on the platform. He was saying naked woman on the platform, and me and Anna got out, and there's some fucking black lass. I don't know what the fuck she was on, but she was dancing on the platform, stark bollock fucking naked, and it was just kind of magnificent. It was kind of magnificent. I remember like thinking, this is New York. You know, you kind of turn up to New York and there's like, you know, naked women on the train platform, just fucking dancing away and doing mad shit, you know. So I think if I was rich, I'd definitely live in America. I'd definitely live in America. But then part of me feels like I maybe gonna live in Tokyo as well, just because it's so kind of strange. But if you're kind of rich, you can afford to kind of get around without knowing Japanese too much, I guess. You know. There may be some kind of poorer country too, like fucking India, where, you know, it would be like last days of the Raj, with a fucking faithful manservant called Simba, tending to my every fucking needs. So maybe I go to a poor country. That sounds quite cynical, doesn't it? Nah, New York's fine. New York's fine. Cats or dogs? Well, obviously I'm a cat person. It basically comes down to what pet you got as a kid, doesn't it? If you get a cat, you're a cat person. If you get a dog, you're a dog person. I'm not one of those cat people who dislike dogs. Like, I'll stop for every dog in the street in the same way that I'll stop for every cat in the street. So I love both, but I do prefer cats. Dogs can be so fucking needy. Like, dogs are a needy animal. You know, worship me. There's something kind of actually repulsive about dogs sometimes. In the same way there's something kind of repulsive about a girlfriend who won't leave you alone. It's just too into you. Do you know what I mean? Doggy, it just turns you off. I kind of feel like that with dogs sometimes. They turn you off to their own neediness. They just have to be loved. Whereas cats are like, hey, you know. You like me, that's fine. You don't like me, fuck you. Feed me, bitch. Yeah. I think cats are kind of, it's one of these things you kind of generalise about, because you kind of, you know, look at people's kind of decisions and kind of think, well, what does that say about them as a person? But I do think you can tell something about cat owners versus dog owners. You know, I think dog owners, man, they're simple. Like, the worst fucking cunts you'll ever meet are always dog owners. Some prick with a fucking, you know, staffy built, you know, they're always dog owners. Shitting on the street, it's always dog owners. Cat owners, I don't know, a bit more sensitive, a bit less, I don't know, more intelligent, less needy, I don't know. I know that's all bollocks, but you know, you kind of feel it, don't you? It's one of those things, I guess. You kind of meet a cat person, you know, it's like, hey, a cat person. If you meet a dog person, you know, it's like, dog person, you know. As stupid as it all sounds, but there you go. Give me 2 seconds, I'm gonna get a drink. Where was I? Curry tonight. What will you order? Sides, apps, drinks, mains, a lot. Well, I had a curry the other night, so I'll see what the order was. I'm just googling some shit. Give me 2 seconds. What did I order last time? Well, I'll tell you what I ordered last time. I'll tell you what I probably would order. Last time I ordered chicken tikka balti, pila rice, garlic naan, plain papadum, sweet mango chutney, and tarka dal. £22, £15. So it was quite a lot. I do love a curry. It was the first kind of like foreign food I ever got into. I was a very bland eater as a child, very bland. So what would I order? It's kind of predictable as it sounds. I'd probably go for chicken tikka masala, just because it's like a childhood thing. It's the first kind of curry I ever got into. I used to eat it a lot when I was in India, bizarrely, because I was still a fussy eater then. So we'll go for chicken tikka masala. I like pila rice. I like the kind of fragrant note to it. I quite like mushroom rice too, but I think I'll stick with pila. Garlic naan. You gotta have a naan, obviously. I mean, naan's one of the best breads ever, isn't it, really? One of these days, supermarkets are gonna fucking sort out naans. You know when you go to the supermarket, you get that shitty Tesco naans for like £3, and they're crap. It's just, how can't we get supermarket naans right? One day we'll get fucking supermarket naans right, and that'll be the day. That'll be the fucking day. Papadum, you gotta have some papadums. I like it with sweet mango chutney. I'm not a fan of fruit, to be honest, but fruit, papadums, bit of curry, cool you down, awesome. Some kind of side dish. I'm gonna go back to the main menu actually, and try and get a side dish. You kind of get a bit overwhelmed with Indian food, don't you, really? I do like mushroom pakora, as basic as it sounds. I'm quite basic with kind of food and takeaway food in general. It's kind of a nostalgia thing, it's something kind of reassuring and familiar. So I always tend to go for the same things. So yeah. I don't know what else is there to kind of order. Chicken tikka masala, pila rice, garlic naan, papadum chutney, mushroom pakora, or something like that. That's fine. That's enough for one person, right? You know, I'm not fucking Homer Simpson. Next question: John or Paul? Fucking hell. One of the great eternal questions of all time, eh? Let me think about that for a second. My gut feeling is always John, just because I think I prefer his songs, truthfully. I think there's more sense of self with John. More sense of something gnarly and darker, I guess. Paul's kind of, he's not superficial, but you know, he's just different, isn't he? But I'm sure a lot of people kind of find themselves always going towards John as a person, because he seemed more complicated and more human and kind of flawed than Paul anyway. John or Paul. I kind of feel like I don't know. It's like when people talk about John these days, they often kind of start with, "Oh, John was a bad man. John was violent towards women," this kind of thing. And that's a kind of perfectly valid thing to kind of point out because he wasn't a fucking saint, obviously. But it's those flaws which I guess make John more interesting as a human being, whereas Paul's flaws, and Paul has flaws, basically he's a bit of a cock. His flaws almost aren't as endearing, even though they're not as harmful, if you know what I mean. And we seem to get more bothered by the kind of harmful flaws, less harmful flaws, like Paul just being a bit of a cock, than we do by John, being violent towards women or whatever. But if you like somebody, you like somebody, and you can kind of overlook or forgive quite a lot. And I think people just generally like John better than Paul, and I do too. I think John's one of those kind of archetypal male men, kind of alpha male, sarcastic, funny, bitter, biting. You can recognise in yourself, and you've probably all met types like that. But John seems to be the kind of best example of that, in all its kind of glorious flaws. Yeah, John, plus musically he's better. Although it's easier to do an impression of Paul McCartney than it is John Lennon. All you got to do is go, ooh, doo, that kind of thing. But anyway. Question 7. You recently had dinner with John Cohen. What's the deal with that guy? The man is a cunt. Like, I can't explain it in like other ways. The man is just a cunt. He's funny looking too in real life. One to be avoided. Question 8. Any unfulfilled ambitions? Any unfulfilled ambitions? In some ways, I kind of feel like I have no ambitions at all, which seems like kind of like a funny thing for a human being to say. You've got no ambitions at all. You don't want for anything. You don't need anything. You got no goals, nothing. And it's like, kind of, I don't know. But then I think I would like to write some kind of decent garage rock type number, just a basic kind of grinding riff, simple chorus, bang, bang, bang. I would like to write a book, but then not like a fucking not like an actual novel. That's too much work. I think I'd go for some like Douglas MacDonald, the backpacker years, just random stories about travelling, thrown together in some kind of non-linear way, which just kind of gives you a sense of the kind of flavour and feeling of being a backpacker surrounded by other backpacker wankers in a fucking hostel. I think that's what I'd go for. So it's kind of liberating, but you get a sense of the kind of flavour of it all. Yeah. Question 9. Go on. Sing me a few bars of a Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd tune. Any song will do. Let me have a think. I'm actually googling the lyrics, by the way. Yes, I'm still here, bear with me. Right. I've got a bike, you can ride it if you like. It's got a basket, a bell, a range of things to make it look good. I'll give it to you if I could, but I borrowed it. You're the kind of girl that fits in with my world. I'll give you anything, everything if you want things. There you go. Next question. Pick something, artist, song, album, musical style, movement that you treasure and that you think me and your other neighbours here might possibly be missing out on undervaluing. It's kind of hard to kind of get that question to kind of on a board of music nerd type people, because you feel there's nothing you could possibly say which somebody else hasn't heard. Maybe I'll just kind of break it down. I'll pick a song because there's a song I really like that I've been listening to in the last couple of days. It's a new song by somebody called her name is she's called Wise Blood, but it's spelt like Weyes, Weyes. And I was thinking, Wise Blood, Wise Blood. What is it? How you, it's Wise Blood. I had to Google that though, so she's kind of missing out there. She's called Wise Blood. I think her real name's Natalie, and the song's called Movies. The album's called Titanic Rising, and it got really good reviews last year. One of these albums of the year type things. But this song's really great, I think. And like last night, I was actually listening to it, and I actually had a lump in my throat, which doesn't happen very often with new music. But I really like the song. So that's Wise Blood. That's Weyes, Blood. And the song's called Movies. That's one song, a musical style movement. I'll just say opera, even though I'm obviously far from an expert, and I only really listen to Wagner. It just seems to be that at its peak, opera is like the peak of human artistic endeavour. Music and drama combined into one profound whole. So I'd recommend opera as being something you may be missing out on or undervaluing. Yeah. And I think I've covered everything. I'll probably talk quite fast because I tend to talk quite quickly. I want to thank John for asking me these lovely questions. It's very gracious of him and nice. And I would like to thank you guys, for listening. I hope it was vaguely enjoyable, and I hope you understood what the fuck I said. Thank you.